Hello, thanks for joining us on the news. I'm Ruth Aguilera. We're streaming live on Vision TV 247 and all the social media platforms displayed on your screen right now. My sign language interpreter is Shegun Ajayi. Let's bring you the headlines. European Commission moves to give young people a greater say in decision making. Democratic Republic of Congo's Constitutional Court certifies President Felix Tshisekedi's victory. And Fiscal Responsibility Commission collaborates with International Monetary Fund to improve capacity. Akwa Ibom State has joined list of states seeking partnership with the federal government as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu received Akwa Ibom State Governor Umo Eno. The governor, who visited President Tinubu at the State House, is seeking support of the federal government for some of the state's projects, including its agricultural program on oil and the Ibom Deep Sea Port. Briefing State House correspondents afterwards, Governor Eno expressed belief that the Ibom Deep Sea Port project has the potential to provide an alternative to the Lagos seaport.
Ibom Deep Sea Port has the deepest drought that will bring in ship, and we can transship from that point. Again, Lagos is there, but you also know Lagos is congested. Of course, that is no story. So you need a deep sea port that will take care of the southeast, south-south, if you like, the Niger Delta region. Akwa Ibom is an oil palm zone, and we have started the process of revamping a moribund industry that has laid there for 28 years. It's being revamped right now. We need the support of the federal government to be able to have a full value chain and then bring our people to work and be able to help Nigeria. We can even get to exporting palm oil, because right now we're still importing a lot of it.
Still on partnerships, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Dr. Richard Montgomery, has re-emphasized the important role of the Nigerian diaspora in the United Kingdom and pledged more collaboration with Nigerians and Diaspora Commission. Dr. Montgomery, while on a courtesy visit to the chairman, NTAi, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, stressed the need for enhanced trade and investment between both countries, adding that the UK-Africa summit scheduled to hold in May in London is a strategic opportunity to galvanize trade and investments for both countries and the African continent at large. NTAi boss Abike Dabiri-Erewa welcomed the collaboration. She also underscored the imperatives of cultural exchange, advocating the revival of the Cultural Roadshow initially slated for 2020, but deferred due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Dabiri-Erewa expressed optimism ahead of the UK-Africa Investment Summit in London and the role of the Nigerians in the UK. They're playing a catalytic role in bolstering partnerships between the UK, Nigeria, and the African continent. The federal government has renewed its commitment to strengthen bilateral relations on defense with France. The Minister of Defense, Mohamed Abubakar Badaru, stated this while receiving the outgoing ambassador of France to Nigeria, Emmanuela Blattman, at a ship house in Abuja. The minister assures that Nigeria is prepared to upskill training and technology transfer to enhance Nigerian armed forces. The outgoing ambassador has been appointed the head of the African and Indian Ocean at the Foreign Affairs Ministry in France, and she promised to deepen defense cooperation with Nigeria. To other issues, the European Commission has announced several actions that will give young people a greater say in decisions that affects them and deepen youth dimensions in a range of EU policies. Now, these actions are to engage young people in a meaningful way ahead of the 2024 European elections and beyond. Haman Jabani will tell us more.
The actions are based on insight from 2022 Europe Year of Youth. The year featured over 13,000 activities organized by more than 2,700 stakeholders across the EU and beyond. Among them is EU institutions, EU member states, organizations working with and for young people, as well as young people themselves. The initiative will involve action to support a youth dimension in EU priorities and policies response to requests by European Parliament and the Council, as well as key stakeholders organizations such as the European Youth Forum. In addition, the Commission has put forward several concrete actions addressing young people's concern in 5 policy fields that are of key relevance for them. The areas are health and well-being, environment and climate change, education and training, international cooperation and European values, employment and inclusion. As part of these measures, the Commission will take forward the work towards a joint European degree in 2024 in line with the European strategy for universities. In addition, the EU will set up a platform for regular dialogue and consultation with youth organizations worldwide through the Youth Dialogue Platform in EU External Action, update its quality framework for internship in 2024 to address issues including fair remuneration and access to social protection, as well as prepare guidelines on well-being in schools to produce in 2024.
That we are absolutely determined to address the concerns of young Europeans in all policy areas and strengthen their voices. We need the power of youth to be registered in the European elections in June.
Opportunities we're making sure young people receive will shape the future of our societies and define the future of Europe. This year, 2022, was the year of European youth. Now we have to ensure that the future is theirs too.
As part of the Commission's effort to bring the EU close to the young people, the 2024 European Youth Week will take place from 12 to 19 April and will focus on the democratic participation and elections, which is 2 months ahead of the European Parliament elections. The week will celebrate and promote youth engagement, participation and active citizenship through a series of activities all over Europe. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Border patrols in Spain say they are not overwhelmed by the number of migrants who arrive Spain in large numbers from West Africa. Let's hear from Kolo Mohammed.
2,000 migrants have scaled the border fence into the Spanish enclave of Melilla, described as the biggest assault on the border post for over 8 years. The new arrivals, many from Cameroon and Guinea, headed towards the migrant reception center, celebrating touching down on European soil. The only land border to Spain from Africa is at Morocco. The latest incursion at Melilla brings the number of migrants who successfully scaled the fence to over 12,000. Spanish Prime Minister has appealed for help from European Union to deal with the irregular immigration, saying the EU should step up support for countries like Spain with territories on the EU border. The rest of EU is buckling up as migrants are expected to arrive divergent border crossings as the season is rife, when migrants dam all the urge just to live and work in Europe.
In other news, strike actions by rail and air transport workers have forced many passengers to stay home and several flights cancelled, especially at the Munich airport. Here is Kolo Mohammed again.
Passengers who booked flights to or from Munich were asked to contact their airlines or tour operator and refrain from going to the airport. The German trade union announced a nationwide transport strike and a growing dispute over pay and working conditions. A statement by the union urged public transport employees, security and ground staff at major airports to stop work for 24 hours. Frankfurt Airport, an international hub, also announced that the strike is expected to cause major disruptions this week. A new round of discussion is set to have started in hopes that the government and union members will arrive at truce for normalcy to return. Passengers traveling by rail are the most disturbed.
Bad because we were very organized and we had an agenda to follow, and now we are losing everything, and we already paid.
It's only in Germany because I've got a number of other stops to go to. I'm on a tour, and from here, from Warsaw, I go to Ukraine.
As total shutdown of rail stations is ongoing due to the strike. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
Gunmen with explosives stormed a TV station on air in Ecuador on Tuesday during a wave of violence around the nation that prompted President Daniel Noboa to name 22 gangs as terrorist organizations to be hunted by the military. Charles Alpha reports.
In the port city of Guayaquil, men wearing balaclavas and waving weapons stormed a state-owned TV station during a live broadcast, taking several journalists and staff members hostage on Tuesday. Hooded attackers fired gunshots during a live TC broadcast. A woman could be heard pleading, "Don't shoot, please don't shoot." The intruders forced the terrified crew onto the ground, and a person could also be heard screaming as the studio lights went out, but the broadcast continued. Police entered the studio after about 30 minutes of chaos and arrested the 13 men who burst into TC studios during a live broadcast. Elsewhere, at least 7 police officers were kidnapped with several explosions. 10 people have been killed in a series of attacks blamed on gangs, 8 in Guayaquil and 2 viciously murdered by armed criminals in the nearby town of Noble, police said on Tuesday. 3 other officers were wounded in Guayaquil. Gangsters declared war on the government when President Daniel Noboa announced a state of emergency following the prison escape on Sunday of one of Ecuador's most powerful narco bosses. Noboa ordered military operations to neutralize criminal gangs as the country exploded into what he called an internal armed conflict. Sandwiched between top cocaine exporters, Colombia and Peru have seen violence explode in recent years as rival gangs with links to Mexican and Colombian cartels vie for control after the escape of Jose Adolfo Macias, also known as Fito, leader of Ecuador's biggest gang, Los Quenoros. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
On politics, the Democratic Republic of Congo's Constitutional Court has certified President Felix Tshisekedi's victory in the country's December 20 elections. The court ruling on Tuesday said Tshisekedi won with about 73.5% of the vote, affirming that the provisional result announced by the country's Electoral Commission on December 31 was valid. Comfort Fashion reports.
Despite independent observers' reports of alleged widespread irregularities during and after the December votes that have led the main opposition candidate to call for a rerun, the Constitutional Court validated the incumbent's victory.
Proclame élu à la majorité simple, président de la République démocratique du Congo.
The verdict has paved way for Tshisekedi to serve another 5 years as head of Africa's second largest country and the world's top producer of cobalt and other prized industrial commodities. The opposition had previously called for the election to be annulled, citing massive fraud, and urged international community not to recognize the provisional results. Also, logistical mishaps, last-minute extension of voting and an opaque tabulation process further incite disputes which threatens to destabilize the nation. The Constitutional Court ruled on Tuesday that irregularities could not have impacted elections results because there was such a big gap between Tshisekedi and Katumbi, who won around 18% of votes. The government and the Electoral Commission further added that the election was free and fair despite the irregularities and rejected demand for a full rerun. Congo's former colonizer, Belgium, congratulated Tshisekedi for his victory and encouraged the Electoral Commission to pursue investigations into the irregularities. Incumbent Felix Tshisekedi, who got 73.47% of votes, will be sworn in at the end of January. Comfort, Fashion, NTA News.
All right, let's take a breather. We're back in a moment. Welcome back. The Nigeria Customs Service has surpassed its 2023 revenue target by 21.4% as it generated 3.2 trillion naira. The Comptroller General of the service, Adewale Adeniyi, at a news conference in Abuja, emphasized that customs will strategically implement policies that will enable it to realize the 2024 target of more than 5 trillion naira. Kunle Adeyeye reports.
The service contended with issues like smuggling and lower transaction volume, which led to a shortfall of 532 billion naira in the first half of the year, but the new policy direction of the federal government in the last 2 quarters of 2023 bathed the breaking success. The chief custodian of Nigerian borders remarked that officers and men of the Nigeria Customs Service remained uncompromising in the fight against smuggling and illicit trade by making 3,806 seizures with a duty paid value of more than 16 billion naira in 2023 and achieved 52 convictions.
Recording a total revenue collection of 3,206,603,417,315 naira 47 kobo was the highest in the history of Nigeria Customs Service, and in some of the months we also achieved the highest monthly collections.
Projecting into year 2024, he itemized strict alignment with government policy direction, supporting the dynamics of Africa Continental Free Trade Agreements, modernizing customs operations, effective border management by leveraging the Nigeria Customs Service Act, human capital development, and extensive consultations as major antidotes to achieve its targets. Kunle Adeyeye, NTA News.
On the economy, to perform its statutory functions of monitoring and enforcing financial responsibility in Nigeria, the Fiscal Responsibility Commission is working with the International Monetary Fund to improve capacity. Bosade Abel reports that this is part of a 2-week technical assistance mission to Nigeria by the IMF.
Besides improving the skills of officials of the Fiscal Responsibility Commission, the International Monetary Fund's AfriTax West 2 Technical Assistance Commission is here to deepen relationship and develop strategies to better position the Commission for the renewed hope agenda of the present administration.
This training is targeting to provide, to improve the skills, the analytical skills of the officials within the FRC in looking at the medium-term expenditure framework, which is prepared by the government.
Chairman of the Commission, Victor Muraco, commends the priority given to fiscal reforms by the present administration as a key driver of transparency, accountability, and war against corruption.
You know the role of Fiscal Responsibility Commission in the fiscal life of our country. So IMF, in their wisdom, think that part of what they should be doing to the Commission is to improve on the human resource of the Commission. That is why we're here.
The 2-week Technical Assistance Commission is expected to reflect on performance at the Commission and the national fiscal regime. In Abuja, Bosade Abel, NTA News.
Let's look at the judiciary. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has ordered the remand of the former Minister of Power and Steel, Olu Agunloye, in Kuje Correctional Center. The presiding judge, Justice Donatus Okorowo, gave the order following the arraignment of the defendant before the court. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission as the prosecutory agency arraigned Olu Agunloye over his alleged involvement in the $6 billion Mambila hydropower project. During his arraignment, Olu Agunloye, as the defendant in the matter, pleaded not guilty to all the counts. The defendant allegedly fraudulently awarded the contract for the project without the approval of the Federal Executive Council, while serving as a minister under Olusegun Obasanjo's administration. Olu Agunloye is to remain in custody pending the determination of the bail application. A federal high court sitting in Abuja has ordered that Senator Samuel Anyanwu should be recognized as the valid national secretary of the People's Democratic Party. In a ruling on an ex parte motion filed by two PDP members from Imo State, Jeffrey Ihetuge and Apollos Godspower, the presiding judge, Justice Yang Ekwo, restrained the PDP national leadership from appointing any person as acting national secretary until December 9, 2025, when Anyawu's 4-year tenure is expected to end, in line with Article 47 of the party's amended constitution. The court also gave an order restraining INEC from recognizing any other appointment or person as the acting or substantive PDP national secretary.
2023, and because of that, the party was at fault for not showing to the court that he had returned to work since, and that shows bad faith. That's the essence of what the court just said.
The judge did his best. At the end of the day, notwithstanding that we are not pleased, I wait for that directive from my clients on the next day.
Had sued the PDP, its national chairman, or the members of the National Executive Committee and INEC, seeking to prevent what they termed as attempts to arbitrarily remove an elected party official in a manner that is strange to the party's constitution. Still from the judiciary, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has granted 2 weeks bail on health grounds to the suspended Dean of Law, University of Calabar, Professor Cyril Ndifong, who is being tried for cyberbullying and sexual harassment of some of his students. Olabode Arewa reports that the court gave the ruling on the defendant's bail application during his trial in Abuja.
Professor Cyril Ndifong was arraigned by the ICPC on a 4-count charge of allegedly using the privilege of his office as Dean, Faculty of Law, University of Calabar, to solicit for the nude pictures and videos of some of his female law students in order to facilitate favorable academic grades for them. In the brief filed before the court, ICPC says Professor Ndifong's offences contravened the laws. He had been on remand pending conclusion of trial. This prompted his defense counsel, Okon Efut, senior advocate of Nigeria, to file an application for his bail, praying the court to allow the defendant to go for an eye surgery for glaucoma. But the prosecution counsel, Osuobeni Akponisemenga, opposed the bail application, describing it as a ploy to delay trial. But the court, on compassionate grounds, overruled the prosecution's motion and granted bail to the tune of 250 million naira and one shot to the defendant, while the defense counsel is to be the surety. The bail is to lapse after 2 weeks. Upon arraignment, Ndifong had pleaded not guilty to the allegations. The matter is adjourned to 26th of January for the commencement of accelerated hearing. In Abuja, Olabode, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu celebrates Fola Adeola for reaching the milestone age of 70 and for his numerous contributions to the Nigerian business ecosystem by creating jobs, opening up investment opportunities across sectors, and promoting initiatives for the economic advancement of the country. In a release signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, the President extols the brilliance, integrity, courage, and patriotism of the founder of one of Nigeria's leading banks, describing him as a great asset to the nation. Tinubu felicitates with the business leader for many more years in good health and strength. President Tinubu condoles with family of Sheikh Abdul Hafiz Ashamu Abou, the Muslim community in Lagos and the Lagos State government over his death. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ingilale, says Bola Ahmed Tinubu acknowledges the legacy of service, duty and sacrifice of Abdul Hafiz, who passed away at 100 years old, noting his contributions to the Muslim Ummah, Lagos State and beyond. President Tinubu praised that Almighty Allah grant Sheikh Abdul Hafiz Ashamu Abou the highest station in the Al-Jannah Firdaus. Let's find out together how Thursday's weather will look like. That's the news. Thank you for your company. I'm Ruth Aguele. My sign language interpreter is Shagun Ajayi. Have a beautiful evening.